Hey guys, it's Ashley aka Ashley Lee and we're back with another video sa wakas. I don't even remember the last time I did this. So today, actually, I've had this planned ever since before the pandemic pa. I really wanted to start a series na trying out new things every month. And one of the things that I wanted to learn is knife combat, so martial arts. I posted recently on my Facebook profile that I really wanted to learn Kali, and the classmate of mine back in Ateneo, si Pretty Boy Estipona. So he tagged this guy, and then this guy actually replied and said he could teach me a few basics, ganon. So I invited him over, and then I just realized world champion pala siya ng Arnis. So magpapasubo tayo today. So please welcome Mr. Daniel Bernas.
Hello!
He's going to teach me stuff today.
I'll give you like an overview of Kali Arnis.
Okay.
Different names in it. Kali Arnis is Krima. So we'll start muna with a little bit of stick work and then sword work, and then the one you wanted in particular, we're gonna do some knife combat.
Yay!
So, ang gagawin natin is, I'll give you an introduction to some basic movements, basic techniques ng martial art.
Okay.
Tapos we'll spring off into applications. So, particularly yung expertise ko is combat sports and performance art. But in this case, combat sports. So, we'll play a little bit of a knife sparring game in the form of a sport. So, I have some gear here.
So what knives are we using?
So, we have these rubber training knives para safe tayo, and then we can also use it for some contact.
Okay.
But then we'll also build off to... So these knives will beep and light up when we make contact. So should be cool. Parang Star Wars. Changes color also. Where's the green one?
So since advanced ka na, pwede bang real knife yung gamitin ko?
Basta real knife din yung gagamitin ko.
Ay, daya. Dapat may partida, di ba? Ano eh, may advantage ka na eh. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this, I think, 12 years na. So I started 2009.
Oh, wow. What made you get into it?
I took it as a PE class sa Ateneo lang din. So my teacher then was si Master Richard Galago ng Kamao. I took it as a PE class, then I joined the varsity team, and then from there I didn't stop anymore.
Wow. Okay. Actually, the first time I saw Arnis was when I was in grade school. Tapos, syempre diba mga PE or like Arnis Club, ganon. Naisip ko, why would I wanna learn how to make hampas, ganon? And now ko lang siya na-appreciate. So, I'm really excited to learn.
Similar sentiments din actually. I was exposed to it a bit sa grade school. It was not that interesting. But when I tried it in Ateneo, na-introduce sa akin yung sparring aspect. Doon ako natuwa. It's like we get to hit each other and stuff. So that was fun. And then, yeah.
Na-excite din ako mag-hit ng
Yes.
tao.
Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Okay, so there's different ways to hold the stick. For context lang, the style that I started with, yung Kamao style, it's a Largo Mano style. When you say Largo Mano, it's long range oriented. Kasi there's different ranges of combat. If you think like, for example, like MMA, there's a range where we can reach each other with kicks, but we can't quite punch each other. When you get closer, you can punch and kick. When you get closer, you can start grappling. Parang ganun din with Kali Arnis. So we're gonna start off lang studying the long range, meaning we're trying to reach each other from a distance. So there's different ways to hold this. Personally, when I'm sparring, I hold it at the very end. That way I can reach my target better. Then I have more reach, I have more range, diba? But for starters, a good position to start would be just like about an inch of distance or like a fist worth of distance. So this gives you kasi a little bit more control. Medyo kailangan mo ng training to be able to use this. So whichever works for you is fine. I'll recommend yung may konting space para it's easy to manipulate.
Basta tayo.
Sige, kung hindi
Ganyan.
mo tayo, okay.
Nagmamarunong lang, okay.
In terms of position, there's also a couple of different philosophies to it. Some want to keep it all the way back here para you generate more power kasi it's a wider range of motions. You can start here para mas madali. But when you move to the knife, we're definitely gonna go here because you don't need power anymore, which I will explain later. Yung stance natin, our default stance would be our dominant leg forward. So right leg forward. Then left heel is slightly, is nakaangat. So we'll just start with a default stance like this. So have you done any other martial art, like boxing?
Boxing and Muay Thai.
Boxing and Muay Thai, your dominant side is behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Parang awkward.
Kasi you're trying to generate power, diba?
Yeah.
So you're keeping the power side behind you. Since the stick is multiplying your power, we're emphasizing the range. Kaya ating default natin. But that's not to say that this is incorrect. This will also generate more power if you were to do that.
Yeah.
Yun lang, you're sacrificing the range. So right leg forward, left heel up, and then stick here. Yung itong tawag nating empty hand or live hand, we'll keep to our chest. Just so it doesn't get in the way. Later on then with the knife, may applications din siya. So we'll start with very basic functional movements, diagonal strikes.
Okay.
So from here, we're gonna draw a diagonal line. 1, all the way here. We'll clip it here. And then 2. So we'll divide into 2 strikes. So when you combine that, ang tawag niyan is X. So you're drawing the letter X.
Okay.
And then more terms, this is the abierta position. This is the cerrada position. Open, close.
Okay.
Ah.
Abierta.
So from abierta to cerrada, 1, 2.
Abierta, cerrada.
Ngayon, let's add a little bit of body movement. Para we have full range of movement, that means more power when we need to generate it. So we're gonna shift our stance. The left heel will go down, and then the right heel will go up. So with the strike, sabay yan. 1, 2.
Okay.
So notice then, when you point your shoulder to your target, you have a bit more range. As opposed to, medyo umatas siya.
Okay.
So pointing the shoulder to your target gives you a little bit more range. So we're gonna translate this X into blocking motions. Instead of reaching for your target, we're going to block. So pointing the stick upward, para ka to throw ng sideways punch. So from here, 1, and then kabila, flip, 2. But realistically, for sparring, it's gonna be a little bit quicker, it's gonna be a smaller motion. So this is just to kind of get familiar with the movement. So you will meet the strike with the block.
Kinabahan ako bigla. Nabarap na siya sa akin. Okay. Okay.
Flip, 2.
Ah.
So 1, yan, 2. So make sure, tama to ha, you're keeping it a little bit in front of you, tapos to your side. Kasi this, abot na yun, diba? Same thing here, kung medyo nandito siya, baka umabot. 1, 2. Okay. Basic footwork naman. So we're going to do like a step and slide. So we're going to step at the forward leg and then slide. So 1, 2. Tapos pabalik, same thing, step here, slide here. 1, 2. Para siyang cha-cha, we're gonna take turns, okay?
Okay.
I will go forward and attack. And then you go forward and attack. So 1, 2.
Okay.
Try mo din. 1. So target pala siya. 2. Since these are impact weapons, you go for hard targets. So you go for bones. So I might target the temple, the collarbone, the wrist, the elbow, things like that. These are all applicable with that X pattern. So for this particular drill, you're aiming for my temple. 1, 2. Yes. Ang gawin natin ngayon is we'll wing it a bit. I'm gonna move around and you just try to match. I will just initiate attacks. What you'll do is just try to maintain the distance between us.
Okay.
If I go forward, atras ka. If I go to the side, mirror mo lang. Ikaw bahala what kind of footwork comes out. So just get a feel for it.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just supposed to be blocking that.
Block lang. Okay. 3, 1.
Ay! Never?
So you're gonna keep it parallel to your forward leg. Yan. 2, 1, 2. So I'll randomize it.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Common then is modified version ito, diagonal. So this can cover a downward, a diagonal.
Okay.
Kasi this angle is actually one of the most common strike steps kasi sobrang natural.
Oh, shit! Okay. Oh my goodness.
The difference naman ng sticks and ng swords is, the nature of it, diba? It's a sharp weapon. So you might not always need full power to cut. Kasi kung konting daplis, that's gonna cut. Especially if your opponent is coming at you with force, you can use that force against them. But that's another thing. The stick is an impact weapon. Sabi ko, diba, you go for hard targets, so bones. Ito naman, softer targets. So for example, if I'm striking with the sword, I might go for the neck, or I might go for the wrist, the forearm, because I'm trying to cut. Ito, I'm trying to smash, so to speak, diba?
Okay.
So, ngayon, with the defending, pwede rin naman ng blocks, but it's a little bit more complicated because of what it is. Well, we're gonna try something else. There's this concept in Filipino martial arts called defanging the snake.
Okay.
Ang snake, kung walang fangs, harmless.
Fine.
Diba? Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Let's practice muna maintaining range. So, I'm going to... Sige, don't move. Okay. So, at this range, ito yung sakto na I can cut your neck. Right?
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is, as I reach for this range, you're gonna just step back. Yung sakto lang na hindi abot. So with this movement. Notice that I can't reach my target that I'm going for, but you can easily reach my... Diba? It's right there. Yan.
Right.
So sasabayan mo siya. As I'm doing my ekis, the drill is to also do your ekis. One. Pero you have to... Yan. So you can, go through. Just try to cut the arm as you're distancing yourself. 2. You can also explore different angles if you feel. So this is what we call pala feeding drills. Meaning I'm not really trying to hit you. I'm just helping you understand muna the different positions.
Yeah.
Because if I go too fast then, we're gonna end up hitting each other, then nothing's gonna be learned. We're not simulating like a real fight or anything like that. The knife works kind of like the blade. The difference lang is it's shorter range.
Yeah.
So sometimes at a certain range, the live hands come out. You can actually kick your opponent at that point. But we're not gonna do that. Kasi sometimes So now we're gonna go to yung topic na gusto mong aralan ng knife. Wala pa tayo sa specific application. When you apply these techniques in different applications like self-defense or performance art like choreography or combat sport, mag-iiba yung movements. Kasi for example, in the movies or choreography, you have to make it look cool. It's not about, efficiency, it's about looking cool. Pag self-defense naman, you're trying to survive. You're thinking of the actual damage you will take, the actual damage you will give. Iba yung mindset nun. Pag sport naman, you're trying to win. So you might do some risky moves, you're playing within a specific set of rules. Yun yung pupuntahan natin. But for now, just basic concepts. So we're not simulating anything yet. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Sayang, parang gusto ko sana magmukhang cool but still win. Ano ba yun?
Mamaya, we'll do some flow drills. So we have the ekis, diba? Smaller motions siya, in general, if we're here. But if you want to reach for your opponent, you're gonna have to step a bit more para mabutan siya. So I will try to reach. Evade lang muna. Maintain the distance. Right? Okay. You're maintaining the distance. Ngayon, maintain enough distance where you can cut this.
Okay.
It's a little bit more challenging kasi na. Yan. Sakto lang. Go lower. Yan. Yan, tama.
Okay.
So parang yung block kanina sa stick, pointing down, diba? We're gonna enter like a slightly closer range. As I'm cutting, and if you were to intercept this with your cut, kahit na-cut mo pa yan, the momentum's gonna continue. Diba? So pareho tayo nasugatan. So sometimes, so sometimes, maybe you're trying to evade, and you're gonna need your live hand for support. As I cut, I want to stop it with my live hand. So cut and stop siya. Yep. You want to use the base of your palm because this is the strongest. Yeah. You can put force there. Yeah. Try to get the knife relatively first or at the same time. The other side.
But what?
Yeah. So cut and then.
Okay.
Sige, lagyan natin ng footwork. So I'll enter the. So you will still do yung kanina. You're trying to maintain distance. But I will find my way to get into this range.
Okay. Nagulat ako doon.
Yeah, up lang. Okay. Ngayon, try natin i-randomize. If you can, kung kaya mo sa dodge lang, pwede din. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yan. So, try to figure out what. Yan. Stop mo. Yan.
Oh my gosh.
So ngayon, this will only be if it's a more or less proper cut. Kasi notice mo, for example, this one's naglolo ko eh. Gusin ko lang. Yan. Notice mo, if I just do this, wala. Kailangan cut talaga.
Aray.
Diba? So ikaw lang muna. I will feed, same as a while ago. Pero kailangan tutunog siya. Yan.
Okay. Pero nung ginawa ko sa sarili ko, masakit
Medyo nga.
Sorry.
So what we're gonna do now is a little bit of a give and take. We're gonna learn some newer angles. So this is what we call the media ring. Kasi more or less, we can punch, we can kick, and then we can reach each other with a miss. As opposed to a while ago, we're maintaining the distance. Let's start with the diagonal strike. So reaching for here. One. Ayan. What I will do is, as that strike is coming, I will parry it and lean back. Ito lang muna tayo. So we'll keep to this. So we're practicing lang maintaining this range. Do this a couple of times. So again, not a simulation, just focusing on specific things. Let's try 1, 2. 1, 2.
Okay.
1, 1. 2, 2. Yan. 1, 1. 2, 2. 3, 3. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Let's try to move around.
Oh my gosh.
So you can go forward, backward, or navigate your way in different movements, just so that we can kind of make it more natural to you. Okay, pause.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Since it's random, you're just focusing on the principle. You're either trying to stop it or navigate it over.
Okay, ba mukha bang cool?
Your arms okay?
Yeah, yung ano.
Yeah,
Hindi, pero okay lang. I really read them easily, so.
Okay, the territory.
Sanay na ako sa Oh! Just kidding. Oh, FD! Wait lang!
Nice.
Oh!
Nice, nice.
Lapit mo na! Oh my gosh! Paano yun?
So you're pretending you're gonna go somewhere then changing your mind.
Grabe. Parang may mga kilala akong ganyan.
Diba? Walang contact pero pagod tayo. Sige, pause mo na. Bugal.
Grabe. Parang walang masyado nangyari na. Na-prove ko sa sarili ko na I'm out of shape. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Wait lang. Takbo na lang ako. So, how long was our lesson? Like an hour?
Yeah, around an hour.
And then how many things did you teach me?
I also lost count.
So, hindi ko na rin ma-process.
We went through basic overviews lang. So basic movements, basic techniques in Kali Arnis. So sticks, and then we did a little bit of sword, and a little bit of knife. And then we transitioned to applications and drills, specifically sports. So in sports or point sparring, diba? We're just trying to tag each other cleanly. We're trying not to get hit. Wala pa yan yung simulation of self-defense, disarming, things like that. That can be another time naman.
Okay.
Diba? Pero yun, so that's what we did. So basic movements, basic techniques, and then combat sport movements, combat sport moves.
Actually, sobrang pagod na pagod ko ngayon. And it's like cardio because I haven't been doing much cardio lately. So that was a much needed workout for me. And I really love that I can apply this to real life. And it makes me feel safer. Diba? I'd really love to do this again. As in, gusto ko siyang karirin actually. So I'm gonna contact you for that.
I think a good way then of going about it. So I'm sharing you some of the combat sports stuff. Marami pang aspects ng Arnis, diba? As I said, performance art, combative, self-defense, things like that. So the more exposure you get to different teachers who teach different things, the more your mind will be open then to understanding these things.
Kailangan mo ng awareness
Yeah.
talaga. Sa lahat ng bagay, awareness is key. Wow! Naging deep. Okay, so where can we find you?
YouTube channel, Daniel Bernas. Just search that. Instagram at Daniel_Bernas. Same with TikTok at Daniel_Bernas. Yeah.
Facebook.
Daniel Bernas -- Filipino martial arts vlogger, something like that.
Yun. Okay, sige. Just contact him, reach out to him if you guys are interested in learning all of these things. Super cool. I learned a lot. As in, thank you so
Glad
much.
you enjoyed.
I did. Super. Thank you again so much, Daniel.
Thanks too. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for watching.